there are holes in the standard narrative that has been misused and abused by a number of Christian missionaries. That the usage of my name is really it's a slanderous appropriation that frankly indicates the bankrupt nature of the tactics of this group and the paucity of their academic merit. And because of the seriousness of the charges and allegations, enough is enough. After having had my name dragged through their stupidity and claiming that what I said was somehow linked to what they're trying to argue, I have no choice but to stoop to their level and to expose how utterly unqualified these people are and how ludicrous it is that they are lumping my name together with their understandings of Islam and slandering me by associating my comments with their views. You have the Christian missionaries, or a subsect of Christian missionaries. Obviously, not all Christian missionaries use such evil, underhanded tactics. There's a small group amongst them. They do not represent mainstream Christianity. They do not represent the general nature of Christian preaching and teaching. But this small group of people that do not represent mainstream Christian theology, these groups of people, what they do is they try to construct a web of deceit and lies, and they drag in people like myself, and that's why I'm having to do this video, people like Jay Smith or David Wood or their ilk. And as for the Christian missionaries who are out to convert the Ummah, good luck with that, because the fact of the matter is that, and again, I'm not trying to come off as dismissive, but they are not real academics. The reason why I don't listen to them is because they have nothing to offer of my benefit. But these missionaries in particular, they have nothing to do with the world of academia. They are untrained, unqualified, ignorant, arrogant individuals who spout ridiculous claims that don't have a shred of credibility amongst actual academics. They don't even read Arabic, and they are literally like blind mice grabbing at whatever they can, trying to concoct a completely bizarre narrative and then preaching some garbled rubbish to their choir, who obviously have no clue, as to right and wrong about the religion of Islam. It's not in my nature to stoop to the level of every single barking dog. I just don't do that. I don't respond to stupidity and foolishness. And just for once, give these idiots the smackdown that they deserve, to show them, because they have no integrity, to show them that they are utter fools who should not and cannot speak about the religion of Islam, because they are a disgrace to the field of academia. They are untrained, ignorant people who don't have a clue about what it really is that they're talking about. Every single student of knowledge knows, who studies Ulum al-Quran, that the most difficult topics are ahruf and qira'at, and the concept of ahruf and the reality of ahruf, and the relationship of the Uthmanic Mus'haf with the ahruf, and the preservation of the ahruf. Is it 1? Is it 3? Is it 7? And the relationship of the qira'at to the ahruf. This is a topic that when you're the beginning student of knowledge, you're like, what is all of this going on here? When you go a little bit more, you learn to simply memorize what your teachers say and regurgitate it out, and you don't fully comprehend. When you do a deep dive is when things get very, very awkward and difficult. And this isn't new. This is from the time of the Sahaba. This is not a joke, brothers and sisters. The issue of ahruf and qira'at caused confusion to somebody whom the Prophet ﷺ said, if you want to listen to the Quran directly, listen to Ubay. Ubay is not some even average Sahabi. He is the Qari of the Quran. He is the master. He is who he is. And he goes, فَدَخَلْ فِي نَفْسِي شَكْ. Like, what is all of this stuff? Again, this is you have asked me some very honest questions. This is the first time I'm saying these things. Many people are aware who listen to my lectures that I've mentioned the crises that happened to me at Yale. This was the issue. That the issue of ahruf and preservation and qira'at and relationships between them, these are very, very difficult issues. And the most advanced of our scholars, they're not quite fully certain how to solve all of the unanswered questions in there. Here's the point. These issues should only be discussed amongst people who know what the qira'at are and who understand some of these questions that are being raised.
So is what you're saying, the shak that came, or not the shak, but the crisis that you had was in relation to this question of the relationship between the ahruf and the qira'at, basically?
No. The crisis I had wasn't that. The crisis I had was, well, yeah, wait, that was what generated. But what was the crisis? The crisis was very simple. traditional understandings of ahruf and qira'at cannot answer some of these pressing questions that are now being poked by our people outside of, by our academics, not our, by their academics outside of the faith tradition. You see, in a Muslim environment, there's always some respect that we have for the Quran. We should. In a Muslim environment, we'll press a little bit and then we'll say, okay, khalas, sami'na wa ata'na. And that's great, alhamdulillah. When you go to academia, they don't have that red line. And they're going to just, you know, the famous story of the emperor with no clothes. They're going to just point out, no, that doesn't make any sense. Well, that's not true, and this and that. And they'll bring issues, which I'm not going to mention explicitly, that you know are true because they're in your own books. They're not inventing anything new. They'll bring you riwayat, and they'll bring you athar, and then you add to that very well-known issues of, I don't even want to be explicit. And then you bring on top of that makhtutat, and then. And it's very clear to you and to every single very advanced student and specialist that the standard narrative has holes in it. That's what I'm going to say. The standard narrative does not answer some very pressing questions. These are now well known within the Western Academy, that they're bringing forth issues. Their level of now knowledge is leaps and bounds above what it used to be, 100 years ago. What is happening in the last few years is not me anymore. It's the Western academics. These problems are now becoming mainstream. And by and large, our ulama in the Eastern world are not aware, by and large, of what's going on in the Western side of things. And they're not answering those questions in a manner that it needs to be answered.